Here we are with another Saturday Night Live Zoom and a crazy evening here in Toronto. Winter storm has crept up through spring. We got some hail and some snow. It's treacherous driving today. But, we're at I think tomorrow's the last day of the strong part of Mercury retrograde, also having internet issues for the last few days here. And also computer challenges. And even on the on the Keshe broadcast today, they were having problems. So it's we thank Mercury for loving us so much and giving us challenges. And we move on. Hopefully this continues with some good connection here. So, Miranda, take over.
How are we doing? I was at the farmer's market today and I saw they have apple cider and I tasted it. I was like, it'd be nice to change the taste a little bit. So I'm experimenting a little bit. What I did is I got a big bottle and I boiled it. I added the lemon and let's see.
It's got no power.
Yeah. It's not dark. Yeah, just just for a change of taste a little bit, and then.
Yeah, you can add a little bit to the grape.
Yeah, maybe that's what I would do. Not sure, would they mix together, the grape and the apple?
Why not? All the juices they mix.
Let's see. Yeah, but it's nice. I warmed it. I put some ginger. I put some cinnamon stick. So it has it's nice. I like it. And it's warm. I'm drinking it now. Yeah, I'm not thirsty at all. Just, but I make sure that I drink because I don't want to be detoxing deeper than where I am right now.
Yeah, a few more other people getting close to 108 days.
72.
Next week we have somebody, I think.
Yeah. I had a nice big release today. I didn't post the picture yet, but it was a nice long one. I couldn't take a picture of the whole thing because it breaks. It's heavy. So I just pulled it up as much as I can, took the picture, and it's a nice big one. And the smell is quite toxic. Like it's a weird smell. Only when you come close to it, you smell very, very strong. Yeah.
Yeah, well, it's pulling everything out of you. So
it's amazing.
It's the way
amazing. It's like
Put some lemon.
Slimy stuff. It's nice.
So what's happening, Inga? You feeling okay? Got the small crowd today. Gabriella, everything okay? Very good.
What day are you now, Gabriella? You want to unmute?
Yeah. I broke my fast I start eating this Tuesday. So I did 54 days. I couldn't follow the protocol, so that's the reason I broke it. I could not drink juice or eat only a little plasma pudding. So then I was thinking it's better broke it now and do it properly. And I have a question for Gino. You mentioned tinctures on the dry fast, even while eating. Is that correct?
It's an option if you want to use it.
It's an option. So, okay. So before and after the dry fast, if I take tinctures?
Before and after the dry? No, during the dry fast.
During. Okay.
Yeah. If you look on the protocol, it's an option for. We don't take full doses. We take maximum up to half a dose on a dry fast, and you know, there's a lot of people have challenges with dry, so this helps you, you know, get through, gives you that little boost, and it actually helps dig some deeper levels sometimes when you're doing these dries with the tinctures. You don't want to be doing large amounts, just small amounts, like even drops, just to carry you through. We know we have that, and we have which some people wouldn't call it a dry, but I experimented with doing larger doses, and it dries you right out. So it gets very aggressive. That's why we don't want people doing more than half a dose. And there's also the semi-dry option, you know, where you're doing small amounts of juice and tea alternating, you know, an ounce every hour or so. This is, you know, if you're trying to get to 3 days and you're at 2 days and you can't handle it anymore, you know, go to the semi-dry. It'll help train you to be able to go longer. If you keep doing it over and over, you'll get to there. There's people that could barely do 24 hours and they're doing 3 days, no problem now, you know, 3-4 days, doing, you know, continuously practicing this kind of way. You know, we're about results, not about somebody's theory. So whatever we can do to help people advance to getting longer dries over, you know, weeks, months, and years is what we do, because that's where a lot of the magic happens when we get that squeeze. Very, very important, the dry part, but of course everything's important, and we need to wash properly, and this is what we don't see out there with dry fasting in general. And we don't see you know, tremendous results. People are straining their bodies through these dry fasts and eating regular diets. It's quite stressful on the body. So we need to use both sides. We need to know when to squeeze, and we need to know when to wash, and they're both very important. So we use all these tools to allow us to train our body. That's all we're doing. So, you know, now that you're eating, it's early in the game. You know, it's the second phase is at least twice as long as the fast. So for the next minimum 108 days, you'll be going through a lot of changes through the body.
Yeah, I've noticed already something.
Energy
today,
levels.
Here, I cannot, something with my lymphatic system, probably. I felt like a pain, or like, not really a pain, like something different.
Yeah, we have lymph nodes here. Yeah.
Not that they are okay. But I still feel that something is different, you know, like.
What are you eating?
So I fruits. I had watermelon with berries, and with grapes, and the mango.
Very good. You're staying on fruit, basically?
Oh, yeah.
But you're keeping them separate, right?
Yeah.
Okay,
yes.
good.
Yeah. But I was like hungry all the time, you know?
Yeah, when you start eating, you get hungry. When you start drinking, you get thirsty.
Yeah, and I did not drink juice. Today I start drinking again juice, because I was like, I cannot eat all the time, you know? It's like So, and I was cold. I was feeling cold.
Mm.
No, during the master fast, I did not. So I was like, I don't know why.
You got to understand, you know, long time no digestion, body's very putting all its energy on cleaning and regenerating, and then when you start eating again, it's going through another major change. The energy levels go down. You know, you had to get used to all that because you're not used to that no more. Using all that energy for digestion process, right? So there's a lot of change that happen, but it takes. Depending, everybody's a little bit different, but anywhere from a few days to get the digestion started. Some people take a few weeks. You know, the bowels start moving and so on. Your bowels moving well and stuff, so on.
Well, today I had the first bowel movement naturally. So, but I'm doing enemas every. But yesterday I did not do enema. Something was happening in this area with the water, so I did not have water.
Ah.
And I was like, uh-oh.
Mercury.
Yeah. Oh, at the office, we don't receive emails. People do not receive our emails. It's like, what?
Yep. We just sit back and enjoy. Can't do much. You try and fix these things, you run into challenges even more sometimes.
Yeah.
Everything's delayed. But it's okay, yeah. So, you know, you're doing well. Stay focused. You know, continue what you're doing. It's great your bowels started kicking in already. That's very good news. And, you know, you were speaking about you were having challenges on the fast. You couldn't drink or this, that. That's because as you start stripping the layers, you go deeper and deeper, and then the body starts getting overwhelmed from the obstructions that get loosened up, and it can't come out of the body fast enough. And then people, you know, it makes them feel weird because they think it's the juice. It's not the juice. The juice is always the same. It's what's changing is it's stirring everything up, and we start drowning in our own filth, and it's not comfortable. So we're associating subconsciously to the juice. You know, it's just like when you get drunk the first time on some kind of vodka or something, you never want to see that drink again. It's the same thing, similar, except we're using this to clean. So many people have gone through that, and then they continue, and then they love the juice again. So it's either, you know, you continue, but if you can't do it, we back off on green juice or we break the fast properly and don't worry about it because this is a lifestyle. We have to plan our next one.
Yeah.
And, you know, living it. Are you doing any of the mini options or are you just eating?
Well, so I'm thinking about it to do it because I don't know. I'm giving myself 2 weeks, you know, to see how it's going, and then I will see how my body is feeling. I was thinking to do one day before the dry fast, one like a master fast, dry fast, master fast, and the other 4 days to eat, something like that. But I was just thinking of it. I did not yet really plan it, but
on and off is great.
After 2 weeks, I will see.
It's for some people it's challenging to start, but some people are doing that and they love it. Everybody's going to gravitate towards what they can handle, what physically, emotionally, and so on and so forth. But this is a good way to start looking at it because going back to 7 days a week to eat is ludicrous. It really is. You just bring yourself back to all the old ways, and then everything starts building up again. You eat 7 days a week, even if it's fruit, you're going to back up. I don't care what you're eating. We've seen this over and over and over. So the key is to bring the body up to efficiency where you don't need to eat occasionally when you're hungry, if that. But the hunger only comes when you eat, as you've noticed. It doesn't come when we're fasting. So, this is the fallacy of nutrition and hunger and all that stuff. We've shattered those belief systems because we've shown the complete opposite. And we have Marin, our superhero, who's at 2 years on Master Fast. He ain't going back to food, so he only took a couple of weeks short break on smoothies. He was going through major detox symptoms, but it all depends on basically our belief system and our trust in our soul. We're so ingrained through our programming, our upbringing, and this, that, and the other thing, or heritages, or ancestral lines. It's not a simple thing to just turn it off in this society, especially because everybody's running on that program that you have to eat. We're not getting enough of this, and this is that's all we hear from people. Nutrition, you're not getting enough vitamin, minerals, fats, blah. We hear that over and over and over and over and over again. And this is, I'm hearing it from people that are making comments of other people on a fast. And it just boggles my mind because they just don't have a clue about what fasting is about when they start talking like that. Yeah, Rana.
Yeah, and I want to add that I hear this from people who have done 40 days massive fast about the nutrition. When they're done, they come back and they're like asking about the nutrition. I'm like, oh my God. I'm like, really? I mean, why do you confuse yourself? Because they're scared, of course. They're scared because this person has cancer, for example, right?
Yeah, in 40 days.
What can you do? Yeah.
It's not going to solve all your issues.
Yeah, I know, but they are scared and they start going to the nutrition,
Yeah.
And other therapies and try this and I'm going to do this and I'm going to do that. And I'm like, so I'm going to do the master fast, and in my time off, I'm going to do the eating, but this kind of protocol, which has nothing to do with what we recommend. So what's the point?
It's people need to go through the experience to have an understanding. And if they don't have the trust and the faith, they're going to cut themselves short every time. We've seen it many, many, many times.
It's the faith.
They just don't have that faith. They always fall back on their programming, and that takes over, and then they start talking to people and back to where they were.
And faith comes with practice and time, and like slowly educating yourself.
Yep.
So when you have cancer, that's the thing. I even know it's hard for them because the faith is not there.
Well,
they're willing to do whatever it takes, but there's no faith.
It's also the mentality that you go get your chemo radiation sessions for so much time and then it's done. Your cancer's gone. This is the belief system, right? So they're thinking that same line of thought. They don't take on the understanding of what we're mentoring, that it's a lifestyle. Cancer is a state of being, and you're not going to solve your challenges by doing whatever 108 days. You're not going to solve those unless you completely commit to the lifestyle and not go back.
Yeah, this person is not thinking chemo anymore, but is thinking like other therapies, also called natural healing, therapies, which includes lots of supplementation and other foods as well, which like food, I guess, to make sure you have the nutrition, but lots of supplementation. And so confusion. It's just so much confusion.
Yeah, the only thing I've seen supplements do is the same thing as drugs at a lesser degree. They bring the body to imbalance, and they cause obstructions at layers that we don't have an understanding. Because when you go on these fasts, all the truth starts coming out of what these things are for. It just shows, like myself, I can speak, and I've seen it in many others. They take these supplements for years and years, and then they get off them, and the supplements, they seem to be helping them and so on, and then they get off the supplements and things start going off back to where they were, because all they were doing is kind of a stimulating response, like drugs do it to a lesser degree, and they seem to work, but in the reality of the matter, this is not the way you're going to be able to solve the emotion level of where everything starts. You know, that's the whole thing. I don't know if any of you guys watched the Keshe workshop today. It's started at 4 in the morning, finished at 2 in the afternoon. It was an 1 hour break, and there was a few doctors sharing some of their patients through the plasma technology, and some pretty astounding, remarkable, amazing transformations with plasma. When you guys have time, it'd be worth your watch, because this is where we're going. Like they're using the GANs materials and the coils and nanomaterials and so on and so forth. But ultimately, what we're doing in Master Fast is we are the GANs and nanomaterials. So those are great and wonderful. And what these teach us is, wow, these things really do have power. You know, we have that, the Dominica Island wonderful story about the whole island got destroyed except the property that was sprayed with GANs materials. And, you know, believe it or not, it's irrelevant. It did happen. So once you play with these materials and you start seeing what's happening, the whole thing of plasma is it's all the intent and emotion of the doctor or the person in charge of helping somebody through their challenging health times. That's all it is. And you can use these materials to work through them, but at the same token, we are these materials. Slowly, you know, as the carpet rolls out more and more of this science, which is science of creation, we're going to see more and more astounding things. You know, my friend Giovanni, I've talked about this before, his daughter was in a really bad car accident, comatose, broken hips, organs destroyed, brain turned to mush, complete comatose. They brought her back. And Keshe says he can bring any comatose situation back in 3 months. It's pretty interesting. He's in a court case in Belgium because of bringing a comatose victim back. So this is how, you know, they want to suppress these technologies. They do it to all the scientists. They've done it since the beginning of time, and they keep doing it. But today was wonderful. He put out a challenge that they can send them any 10 comatose victims from around the world, and he will bring them back in 3 months. So that's the challenge to the system. And when you're brain dead, you're brain dead. You know, Giovanni's daughters, you can see the X-ray before and after. It's completely severed, the fracture. The whole, both sides of the hips broken. And they couldn't operate because she was in so much pain. You know, complete comatose. The body was in so much pain. She couldn't sleep for, I think it was like 30 days. And finally they started putting on the pain pads and stuff, and That same day she went to sleep. The bone completely recovered, healed, no operation, no nothing. All the organs, the brain completely restored itself. She's up walking now. They took the tube out. She's eating. She hasn't spoken yet, but she understands and things. The next step, they're working on her vocal cords. Like the poor, she's only 21. The poor woman her body was completely destroyed. They put her in palliative care because the doctor says there's just nothing we can do. This is an impossibility. So, he's got her at home, and they're working with her now with, what do you call it, physiotherapies. They didn't even do physiotherapies on her, and because they surely she was going to die. They didn't waste their time, right? And her ankles seized up with all calcifications. So he made a couple of pain pads with her urine, and in one day it broke free. One day with a 1 hour 1 hour process. So I mentioned the GANS materials here and there occasionally because I wish people would start playing with these. We're playing with the plasma in a different sense with the whole Masterfast. We're working with fields, and that's what we're working with. The whole intent and emotion behind Masterfast is my understanding of what I've taken from the schooling I've done in the Keshe. It has nothing to do with them. It has to do with my understanding. So don't want people to confuse that. And as I said, I used to play with these materials for a few years, and then when I went to school in Italy, I basically we did it for a bit, and then I came back and I went to a halt, and because the understanding is that if we're made of these materials, we need to work with the materials that we have within. And Mr. Keshe always talks about that. So at the end of the day, you don't need anything. This whole workshop is to build a spaceship. At the end of the day, not a matter spaceship, a plasma spaceship, matterless spaceship. Once you've can accomplish that with the materials, you can accomplish it without the materials. Same thing. Same thing. So this is the beauty and the magic, and why I was so attracted to plasma science. It was just the one sentence that I heard first time I heard him speak. The planets have no engines, no wings, and no fuel, and they continuously are in motion for thousands and billions and millions, who knows how many years. Where do they get the energy? And as soon as I heard that the first time, I go, this guy's onto something. And I was hooked on learning more. So, everybody's going to pull from the teachings to the level of their understanding. Nobody's right or wrong, but we're all going to pull something differently. And the more we're, what's the word I'm looking for? Surrounding ourselves with this information and talking about it, we'll gain more and more knowledge through it. That's what's been happening with Masterfast. We continuously, have people focusing on matter over and over, but you're not going to find your solutions in matter. We can use the matter materials and put them in a plasmatic state, and that's where the cookie juice comes in, and the plasma pudding with the burnt stick, burnt charcoal, and we're using the energy of the herbs through tinctures and through a tea. We're not using the matter of any of these materials. We're using the energies of them. And this is where you have much more powerful energies than when you're doing the physical matter things, like when you're eating. We've seen it over and over. You can only get so far with eating. Protocols with fruit and herbs and vitamins and supplements. These are not protocols. It's just a diet, and everybody has their theories and this and that and the other thing. What I focused on after many years of many different experiments and listening to all the different sciences and so on and so forth is that you can hurt yourself pretty quickly when you start listening to this kind of information. Fasting is very safe if you have just a little bit of prudence. The problems is always people breaking their fast. Very, very, very minute percentage will have challenges with the fast, and these are usually people that have gone through horrific treatments and drugs and surgeries and so on and so forth, and they're hanging by a thread. So it's, you know, and some of these people are going to pass on because the faith is just not there, but has nothing to do with the fast ever. It has to do with what happened all the years prior and up to those points. And once you understand that, you start getting a little more faith of what fasting can do, especially when we start seeing miracles like the little one you had, Gabriella, with your nerve regenerating. You know, just a little miracle. You know, 10 years later, nerve regenerates. No big deal, because it isn't. It really isn't. But it is a miracle in the eyes of what's out there. And many other people have had nerves regenerate and many other things regenerate. And some of us have very, very challenging situations where, you know, they're still at a couple of years and still having challenges because there was so much damage and obstructions through the body at the physical and emotional levels. So we just need a little more patience and persistence and consistency, because what are we going to do? Go back to food? Seriously. We've all been there, and we all know where that's going to get you. It's going to get you to a point and everything stops, and then it starts going in reverse again because the body's overwhelmed. If you don't stop eating, you know, it's only going to get us so far. This is why we've seen over all these years I've been following, you know, fruitarianism and veganism and raw foodism and high fat and low fat and blah, blah, blah. They're all going to take you so far. Some of them will, you know, obstruct you more than others. And, you know, the high fat one is a pretty dangerous one, because that's where I almost killed myself. So we want to be prudent in anything we do. Less is more in every sense of the word way. From A to Z. Less is more. Less is more. Less is more. And when we start realizing that, the magic really starts to happen, and the faith and trust starts going up, and so on and so forth. But it's going to be an individual journey. No two people will be the same. Many people have similar things happening and so on and so forth, but you know, we're all going to unload waste in every orifice of our body. Kidney pains are usual for mild to severe, depending on the person. Bowel challenges and so on and so forth. Head area, ears, eyes, nose, throat, extremities, all the usual stuff. Reproductive organs and so on and so forth. It's interesting how the human body functions. Yeah.
I released up on the day I broke my dry fast this week. It was a 24-hour. I think it's 3 hours after I started drinking. I felt some fluid in my, my pants. Not too much, a little bit. I've had it before, so I knew what it was. I had it my previous fast, but this is the first time with this fast. Today is day 72. And I went to the bathroom to clean, but it was just a big clump of mucus, and it was like I really wanted to take a picture of it, but I didn't have my phone. Well, yeah, it was a big clump of mucus. It was so big. It's amazing. Yeah, just wanted to add that.
Yeah, it's amazing to watch the fascinating regeneration happening in the body. It's just amazing. We have so many simple tools that really anybody can get a hold of and make any of this stuff that we have on the tools page. You know, some of the stuff is readily available all over the place. And, essential oils, you know, what do we do? And it's the gateway to emotion is the lungs for man, for physicality. And essential oils, they're just another form of energy of the plants. And they're amazing. They're really amazing. And then, you know, we have crystals, which are also amazing. You know, just these are all living beings. And we can work with all sorts of things. Crystals energy, the times of Atlantis, you know, they were using a lot of crystal energies and so on and so forth, and many other things. I'm sure they were into using plasma and so on and so forth. Who knows what happened, but when you're dealing on the soul level, which is plasma, you can only use it for peace, balance, and correct conduct. You can't use it for anything else. Or there's severe consequences for using it for anything other than that. You know, as far as we know, anything to deal with harming another living soul or non-living soul cannot be brought into the universal community. This is the only place it happens here on Earth. And I like look at what's happening now. More warmongering happening. You know, I don't like getting into any politics, but all the people that make these decisions, you know, at the soul level, it's going to be pretty severe. As Mr. Keshe explains, they get scattered throughout the universe until all their little pieces find balance, you know, no matter how long it may take. That's what happens to those souls. You know, there's repercussions for every action. There's an opposing, not reaction, but what's the other word? It's always a two-way street with plasma. You know, you got the magnetical, which is the giving, and you got the gravitational, which is the receiving end. You can't have one without the other in the universe. Magnets have the same thing. You know, they say they're magnetical, but they have also gravitational, because otherwise it couldn't function. So us, you know, being a physical and a being of light, these aspects are working at the same principles, magnetical, gravitational. And the gravitational is much stronger than the magnetical. So the act of creation through love, intent, and emotion, puts it into manifestation. That's the art of the act of giving the love. And once that happens, we're allowed to receive many times more than what we gave. That's the abundant universe. So this is how the cycle starts. And if people would realize this, paradise on this planet would be in an instant, because there is no lack. It's all the conditioning we have. You know, that's the only lack, is the conditioning.
Well, it's a journey, Gino. So, right?
Yeah,
it's a journey. We're here for a reason, to experience it, and then
we're here to turn around
see
this
the light.
planet, the peace, balance, and correct conduct. That's what we're here for, because it's been going on too long. This warmongering stuff. This is what we're here. We're here to change it, turn it around. If it doesn't turn it around, it's going to be annihilated. The whole planet will be disintegrated, because it has never worked, and this time in all of the history, you know, they're at a point where, you know, they could probably destroy this planet. I don't know if the university community will allow it, though. They may step in. I don't know.
Plasma love is stronger.
Mm-hmm. Yep. You know,
so it's not going to happen.
If people would start putting Ganses into the planes and doing the Gans chemtrails, we'd be changing the whole planet very easily. So instead of actually physically doing it, we have the 4:32 a.m. or p.m. Time where we put our intent and emotion on making a deposit into the Master Fast Plasma Bank. So we can build that and build that and build that strength, because there is an entity that's called Master Fast system that keeps building on the strength of others giving into it, which allows anybody who comes into the realm to feed off from what they need. And as it gets stronger and stronger, people will get benefit quicker and quicker, and they'll just keep growing and growing and growing. And that whole entity is how we can also put the intent and emotion to when there's chemtrailing, the whatever they're spraying, we can transmute it to a GANS material to bring balance. Are we going to stop them from doing it? Doesn't look like they're stopping. So let's change that. Let's change transmute the materials as they're spraying. All you have to do is have the intent and the motion of transforming that into a wonderful GANS material of peace, balance, and correct conduct. So it sprays the whole cities that they're spraying. And, you know, if you don't believe you can do that, then, you know, it's you know, you're not going to believe when you see a bone mending that had no surgery completely perfectly, and a brain that was fried like a scrambled eggs turned to, you know, completely normal brain again. It's irrelevant whether you believe it or not. It's possible and it's happening. So the people who have that little faith, you know, in putting these intent and emotions into into our goal of peace, balance, correct conduct, it's going to help. Every little thought will count. Every little thought. And this is the beauty, how we can turn things around. You know, like one man has changed nations in the past, like Gandhi, for example. One guy, what did he start? With his intent and emotion to make a change, and they made big changes in India. So don't think that your one little thought is not going to make a difference. Of course it does. You can't change the laws of creation. It has to make a difference, because it's in line with the laws of creation. And we're not going to be able to change those laws. That's one thing you can't change, is the laws of creation. We can work within them and utilize them, and so on and so forth. But Oh, we got some questions here I just seen. But if we go against them, we have the repercussions. We have the repercussions. Oh, Alejandra. Who else we have? Jeffrey, David. A few people joined. I didn't even notice. Let me put it on the gallery view here so I can see everybody. I thought it was only us four. But yeah, guys, the possibilities are endless. Don't let anybody tell you anything else, because it's bullcrap. It's bullcrap. Not possible, bullcrap. Walk away. Don't even waste your breath and your energy, because we've shown it over and over. What everybody's saying is bullcrap. Cooked juice is poison. Bullcrap. Bullcrap. I used to believe the same thing. So it's all a journey, and for me, diet. It's the answers in plain sight, right? Diet. Be careful of your diet, no matter what it is. It's not the way that it will solve all your problems. Definitely not. In my experience, the plasma science is totally in line with being able to live without physically eating, because you're feeding off the fields. When you're traveling through space millions of light years away, you can't carry food with you, physical foods. You can't come back to get, food if you run out. So how do you sustain yourself? Through plasma. Simple. We're doing it every day. Most of the day, even people are eating, because you're not eating 24 hours a day. And we're not like a machine, like a car where you fill up a tank and you drive, when it runs out, you fill it up. Body doesn't work like that. Body works on the same principles as the universe. Same principle as the atom, as the planets, solar system, galaxies, etc., etc. Everything's in perpetual motion for perpetuity. Doesn't need any fuel. When we start believing that, you will see through this kind of lifestyle that your body will become more efficient as time goes on. Whatever it takes, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 years, whatever it takes, you will see that as time goes on, it becomes more efficient, and it'll astound you of what's possible. And some of us will go through pretty severe challenges, for a few years, if not more. I've shared before about had severe mucus problem, like crazy, growing up many years, and it took me well over 5 years of the raw foods and fasting to get rid of that challenge. So focus on the goals. That's all we need to do. Alejandra, how you doing? Venezuelanda. You're unmuted.
I unmuted.
Oh, okay. I'm good. I'm doing good. So far, I'm doing my 24-hour dry fast. I'm gonna break it very early tomorrow.
So, what's changed from your first fast to now?
Well, I'm following the protocol. I'm drinking 2.5 liters of juice, half lemon per liter. My tea, 2 cups of tea, pudding. Sometimes I took 1 tablespoon, sometimes 2. Nowadays I'm taking half, like 1 teaspoon or maybe half a tablespoon, because it's really challenging. I feel something trying to release, but
Yeah, it's drawing.
yeah, it's stuck there. So I always get bloated. So
Yeah. Yeah, when you start stirring up the things in the GI tract, the GI tract starts here, stomach, bowels, colon. It's a long way. There's lots of happening in there. When it starts stirring up, you can start getting fermentation, this, that, and the other thing. But this is why it's wise to work your way up to as much as you can tolerate. And if it's a little too much, back off maybe a day or two, and then try going back up. Always try going up, and if it's too much, go back down for a few days. Keep trying to push it up, because the more we put it in up to a point, the more pulling and drawing and sweeping action we have in the physical. But it's also working on the plasmatic level with the charcoal in there. So it's a very, very important part of the protocol to utilize in as much as we can tolerate, because it's amazing. Once we unlock the really old stuff, right away from the smell. It's a completely different smell, or should I say stench. You'll know it's old stuff coming out. What was this? 1 sec, sorry.
it's okay.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So far so good.
Yeah, it is. It has been. I thought of like breaking the master fast and doing green juices. But then I realized that I was experimenting with a new cooked juice, and it was really concentrated. It was really powerful, and I think that was the reason who brought all all what I was feeling this last week. Like
Yeah, I remember your post where you had experimented.
Yeah. When you concentrate it down through the boiling, it gets stronger up to a point. It's this is the power of the cooked for what we're doing in this protocol. The liquid. When we're talking about foods, it's a little different. It works because they leave more residues, especially the vegetables. But the fruit, even the cooked fruit, I don't see it leaves anywhere near the residues as the vegetable kingdom. But even raw fruit leaves residue. Believe it or not. There's a woman who's have her young son on hybrid for a while, I think a few months, and he constantly complaining, his stomach ache, and he was blowing up and stuff. And I says, we're only going to get so far with eating fruit. When you're ready, I would recommend to put him on full master fast. And finally, several weeks after, she decided to put him on. But in the meantime, she ended up going to get an X-ray to see if there's anything there. And the X-ray revealed he was completely impacted, his whole GI tract. So they recommended magnesium. I go, yeah, you're not going to solve anything with magnesium. I go, you got to do a long digestive vacation. And now he's been on it for about 30 some odd days. She cannot believe the garbage that's coming out, the worms, the parasites, and et cetera, every single day. And he says, You know, I don't know what it's going to take for people to understand that you can't do this with fruit or any food. But what you're seeing, and you know, the experience is the only way that most of us are going to understand and learn through this. And some people are still, you know, oh yeah, that's pudding coming out. Yeah, of course it's pudding. What goes in must come out. But the level of intelligence is not there to understand what the reason the pudding is there. And how the body starts regenerating magically when the pudding starts coming out. Oh, it's because it's puddings. The body starts magically regenerating. So, you know, we're here to enlighten some people, and people who are not ready, it's okay. They can go any path they choose, and we can elevate their souls. But, you know, the more we start releasing that stuff, the more it comes out, we start seeing the body start regenerating more and more and more. Yeah, it's pudding, folks. That's what it is. If that's what you're seeing. Fasting is the way.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Thank you. Yeah, I have a question. Do you think like going after 40 days master fast and then do like a cold feeding protocol would be advisable?
You can do that anytime you want, sweetheart. You can do it right now if you like.
Okay.
It's very powerful. You know, I've done, I think I've done 9 days was the most. It's very powerful.
And do you also put the pudding?
No.
Oh, okay, yeah. Just okay.
No, you can take tinctures, half a dose maximum from your mouth, or you can just put them all through the colon, your tinctures. Everything's done through the colon only. It puts a lot of energy.
Yeah, I mean, but the pudding on the enemas, no. Okay.
No pudding, no.
Okay.
We leave the pudding out for this. It's basically a dry from above, and we're just washing. That's how you have to think. It's a dry from above. We're not taking anything in unless you want to do the tinctures. It's an option, half a dose, and then we're just washing and washing and washing. And we're focusing on the washing. A few people have tried. They got into like 3-4 days or so. But
Okay.
yeah, you can do that anytime. You can go into it, go back on the full master fast. It's part of the master fast. You can, you know, do it at the beginning. You can do it at the end. You can do it in the middle. Anytime you want. But you be careful. You know, if you're in a master fast and you decide to do it, that when you're coming out of it, you need to get the body back into the fluids and back into the washing, you know, slowly, and get up to drinking enough again, because, you know, you could dry yourself out. With most people that are out there in a severe dehydrated state, and
I am.
you know, everybody, not only you, it
Yeah.
takes years to hydrate a body properly, but we've seen, you know, pretty much everybody doing a long master fast already start to turn to the hydration side in their body. You know, how many people have reported they grew? Lots of people. One woman was like an inch and 3/4, I think. She grew. It's not that you're growing. What's happening is you're restoring the lost height, you know, through gravitational magnetic field. You're removing the obstruction, the body's field strength goes up, and the body goes back into what we call positioning correctly. When we're full of obstructions, everything just tightens up, you know, and we're dehydrated. But as soon as it starts opening up, we're hydrating everything, it opens up, spine opens up, and it seems like you grew. Like I was the one who noticed the first time. And it wasn't me, but my yoga teacher, my original yoga teacher, I've shared this before. When I came back from Italy, he came and see me, and I haven't seen him in like a couple of years. As soon as he walks in, he goes, "You grew." I go, "What are you talking about?" He goes, "You're taller." I go, "What, really?" Yeah. He goes, "You're taller." And then I measured myself, and I had regained 3/4 inch of my lost height. So that was fascinating. And, you know, I mentioned that, and I tell people, measure your height before you start, and measure it in the middle, measure it at the end, see what happens, because more than likely you're going to gain some height back. More than likely you are. It's pretty amazing what happens to the body. That's another impossibility. Growing at whatever age, it doesn't matter the age. Everything opens up through your positioning through gravitational magnetic fields. This is how the body starts training itself to rehydrate itself. Once we go back to food, and if we start drinking water, it's all going to be reversed. It's all going to be reversed if we go back to the old ways. If we stay on minimal clean eating and continue dry fasting, and then get ready, plan out our next master fast, and back and forth, we'll maintain it. We'll maintain it. We're going to fall off the wagon. Yeah, sure. You fall off here and there, but continue. No big deal. Go ahead.
Yeah, Alejandra, I wanted to add, I would be careful with the colon feeding protocol, because you've had an experience where you got dehydrated, right? So you would really want to listen to your body when you go through it.
Okay.
Yeah, try 3-4 days, see how it goes, if you can get to that, and we'll see what happens.
Yeah, I haven't done it myself, but I know people have done it, and they say it's powerful. Those who did it, very few, maybe 3 people have done it. And yeah, then you are already sometimes having a hard time on the master fast, right?
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. Maybe I'll wait. Let's see.
Yeah, there is no need to push too much. You're already going. Your body is already doing so much work.
Yes. If someone who master fast then decide to do a liquid and take a green juice at the end, and then continue with master fast, is that breaking the fast?
Liquid hybrid, master fast liquid hybrid.
Yeah, just
it's fine. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Do what makes you. I mean, if you want to do 108, usually it's 108 on full master fast, but it's okay if you take a few days of master fast liquid hybrid to slow down a little bit. Whenever you feel like it. Yeah. It's not. I mean, it's still, I would say it counts towards the 108. No big deal.
Also, I see how I feel when breaking my dry, and then I'll decide.
This dry? Yeah. The one you're doing right now, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Decide if I continue with master fast or doing a
liquid hybrid.
Yes.
Yeah, even do it, I do it for the taste, the liquid hybrid, just for the change from fruit to vegetables, just for savory taste. Okay. On the weekends when I have time to juice, the green juice. Mm-hmm. But otherwise, I'm already very busy drinking my master fast juice, we hardly have time to drink the juice,
Yeah.
Anyways, because when I'm working, I have no time to juice anything. I can hardly have time to drink the juice, sit down and drink. And remember, it's not about a number, it's a lifestyle.
Yes.
Yeah. It's so you don't need to worry about it. Yeah.
Yes.
But it's nice.
I feel it now. It's okay. It's a lifestyle. So it doesn't matter whether it is 40 or 18 or
I love I love it as a lifestyle, the liquid hybrid. Not every day, as I said, because it's too much work. But I love it, to have it once in a while, because it does give you the full satisfaction.
Okay.
You have the fruit and then you have the vegetables, and you're not eating. Perfect. That's really, it's a very nice feeling. You have both.
Okay.
And yeah, I mean, sometimes it would be nice, you know, when you think about food. I mean, when I made food last weekend, I made a lot of food
Yeah.
for the family, and I think this week more than before, I just thought about food, but I'm not
Wow.
hungry. Yeah, but just the thought that, oh, it's nice, you know, to experiment, but
Mm-hmm.
once in a while. But I don't know if it's necessary. You know, maybe one day, but it's yeah. If I do it, I certainly do not want food in my body more than one day a week. Certainly not, because I will lose. From my experience, I would lose the feeling of being light. And the next day, definitely, I would wash it. You know, it's just the experience. You know, but yeah,
Okay. Thank you.
yeah.
Yeah, sorry, I had to answer that phone. It was my internet guy. Hopefully you can solve it. Yeah, you know, as we continue over the years with each fast, it's going to be a little different experience. You're going to have a little more faith, a little more trust, because you've felt certain things and you understand it, and you can push a little further. So this is the way it happens. The understanding comes through the experience. So don't be fearful when new things surface when you're on a fast. Learn to trust. You know, heart things are scary for people. You know, you get heart palpitations and aches and pinchiness and pains.
I'm feeling dizzy.
Yeah.
I'm feeling dizzy as well. You know, heart
The
racing.
dizziness could be an issue because people have passed out and smashed their heads. And that's that one there. You got to be careful, and that's why when you get up slowly. Make sure all your horizon's fine when you get out of bed or from a chair, especially if you're new to fasting. We've said this many times. And if you have to wear a helmet, wear a bicycle helmet, seriously, because I had that concussion, was it last year?
Wow.
From jiu-jitsu. And I dry fasted it out, and holy mac, what a ride that was. What did I reach? 6.5 days, and I woke up in the middle of the night and the room was spinning 3,000 miles an hour. It was horrific. I had to break it. It was insane. So I broke it, and I think it was for a day, and then I went back on because it calmed down. And then I think it was another 4 days, if I remember, and the concussion was gone. It was healed. Dizziness, everything completely gone. So, you know, sometimes, you know, yeah, you need to break the fast. It's just too overwhelming. Like, you know, the room spinning at those speeds, I couldn't even tolerate it. It was not fun. And it's a horrific feeling when that's happening. But, you know, I had the concussion for... it was like a week or something. It says this is not. It was horrible. I couldn't stay on the computer. It was just horrible. So I says I got to dry it out, and that solved the problem, because you know this is what we do. If you have that understanding, you know you go to the ultimate to solve the problem. Doing nothing, absolutely nothing. So yeah.
Is it normal to even, like, I'm losing weight, even doing minimum, I'm losing weight.
Doing minimum what?
Minimum hours, like 24-hour dry, like 12-hour daily dry.
It's nothing's normal out there, but
it's doing mostly.
It's what your body's going through, and it sometimes, you know, we need to strip down to skin and bones, and it's not comfortable for some of us, but that's what has to happen sometimes. And
I don't know my weight at the moment, but I think it's going to like 30 kilos, maybe less. I don't know. So
yeah,
I'm going to
that
find
would
out
be
tomorrow.
pretty thin. That would be pretty thin. But how do you feel overall?
I feel good. Well, I think my performance and its strength is being like going lower. Like it's really hard for me. My heart really start beating really like high when I
How much is high?
um maybe 100 or 100 and something. When I like just climbing the stairs, like 4 floors.
Well,
Yeah,
if you're moving, but I mean, staying still, relaxed. What's the heart rate?
72, 72, maybe 80,
Yeah.
or yeah.
You don't look at the heart rate when you're moving. You know, you're climbing upstairs, the heart rate's going to go up.
On
if,
bed
if
is
it
72.
if it gets to 100 when you're relaxed, then you know it's pretty
Mm,
high.
yeah.
There was somebody who had like 120, I think, of heart rate.
Mhm.
No, that's before he started. But these challenges usually when people have been on any kind of pharmaceuticals, exposed to chemicals, toxins, so on in the environment. These usually, when you're fasting, it makes the heart go crazy in many different. It can race, it can go slower, it can skip, it can give needle pinches, pain. These are usually what's happening when you've had any of that stuff in your life. I've been through it, and if you read Arnold Harret's book, he talks about it as well. And this is how the body starts as it starts releasing it through the deep layers. It has to make it exit the body, and it goes through the heart, and it makes the heart go nuts. So once they're out, the problem is gone for good. I had what do you call it? What's that called when you got a loose valve? What do they call that?
Palpitation? No.
Not palpitation. Murmur. Heart murmur. My dad had two loose valves. You know, that's. But he lived to 79. But mine, I had that, and it all went away after years of being on fasting and raw foods. So I had it because my dad had it. So yeah, it's just a floppy. Murmurs are caused by weak. They call weak valves, but in actuality, it's just obstructions in those valves causing the weakness. Remove the obstructions, the strengthens up, and the problem goes away. Just like with anything else in the body.
The obstructions in the thyroid, which is
liver,
connective
thyroid,
tissue, right?
kidneys.
That's the valves.
All the same. Tissue. All the same. How many, people, going for bowel surgery, don't need no more bowel surgery. Super bowels now. So everything can be restored. Everything. Your soul will restore everything if you allow and trust and faith. That's it. That's it. But we're lucky in this day and age. We got so many tools that we didn't have a lot of these tools when I started and didn't even know about half of the stuff. So it all really, really helps and makes a difference. And the support system is crucial, from people inspiring each other and sharing their stories so we can have a better understanding. How many people have come to the page and, it saved them just being able to talk to somebody and realize, oh, yeah, okay, I just keep going or do this or that. It's no problem. But even for example, myself with all these years and everything, when you're going through these things, sometimes your mind goes blank, and you can't remember some of this. It goes blank. It happens. So support system, bang. Oh yeah, okay, that's right. I should be doing this, and that. Okay, and there you go, and that solves the problem for that situation. Yeah, it's simple stuff. Simple, really. There's nothing complicated about what we're doing. It can't be any more simpler than what we're doing. TNT twice a day, sip your juice, enema, and pudding once a day. That's it, done.
Dry fasting.
Yeah, you got your dry fasting window. So that's the mass fast. There's nothing complicated about it. It's only us that will make it complicated. Being around food and eating and preparing and going shopping is way more complicated. People have whole careers around food. So that's what's out there. They've changed their lives, moved different countries, continents, whatever, just for food. Food is not addictive. I don't know what is. It'd be nice to live in a warmer place and so on and so forth. At one time, I used to think the same way, to move in an area for the food. I don't think like that no more, because I don't eat that much anymore. So I have different reasons to move. But yeah, it's actually yesterday I had a fresh durian, first time in a long time. Me and my mother had the little fresh durian. The prices have gone berserk. $9 a pound. Just a few years ago, they were $4 a pound. Before I would have left Italy. Now, it's $9 a pound. Like for a thing that grows on a tree, like the tree gives freely. It's it is what it is. The prices have gone insane on fruit in the Toronto area up here. I don't know the rest of the world what's happening, but we've experienced huge price increases. But my food bills keeps going down.
So how much was it for the durian?
It was 40s and change. Small durian, little guy. I never buy the big ones. I'll always buy small to medium at the biggest. I never buy the big ones myself.
You don't have the frozen ones, they packaged, no, right? Near you?
Not here. They have the whole frozen ones. This was a fresh one. The fresh one's got a different taste, but I've gotten really good. Sorry, you're talking about food, but it doesn't bother me when I fast. I've gotten really, really good frozen ones occasionally. Really, really good ones. Sometimes better than the fresh ones. It all depends. When we eat, let's enjoy every bite. You just enjoy it to the fullest, but let's try not to overdo it, and keep it minimal. Nothing wrong with enjoying ourselves when we eat. We don't want to regret it or put any animosity towards what we're eating and this and that. If we fall off, okay. I learned that, ask yourself, do I want to go through that feeling again? Because the next morning you're going to feel it and you're going to know the truth, especially after you've been fasting. You're going to know, your body is going to tell you if that food was okay for you or not. So you need to take it easy when we break our fast. It's very, very crucial for several weeks at least, until we start introducing some of the heavier stuff if we choose. If we stay away from the heavier stuff, it's always better, because we're after the least nutrition foods, not the most. We're doing everything opposite of what everybody else is focusing on. All I've seen in all the time I've been around the natural healing communities is more and more and more. You need more nutrition. You need more raw. You need more and more and more. And didn't work. Doesn't work. Never work. We know the truth. It's less is more. But you need to clean out the obstructions to utilize the less is more. And it's going to take time, Alejandra. It's going to take some time, patience, persistent. A few years are going to go by and you're going to look back. Wow. I can't believe I came from that. That's what happens.
Mm-hmm.
It takes a few years for most people, at least, you know, but it's a cycle, you know, that slowly it's going up, but you have those down times and it's continuously going up.
Yeah.
Everything's improving, regenerating.
I can see my changes and wow, it's amazing. It is.
Yeah. And
still,
it
just starting.
It all does it on autopilot. We don't have to think about it. We just put the body in a position that the soul can work with. And the soul works best with no food, is what I found. Or if you can master plasma science, which deals directly with the soul, and matter don't matter. No matter what you eat. That's at a different level. But for the average everyday person, and then you don't need to eat as well, right? And for the average everyday person, the easiest, simplest route is changing what we eat and implement fasting as part of the lifestyle. And we see magic happen all the time. All the time. I've lost count. I don't even know if I couldn't even keep track of all the different little testimonials, million testimonials, amazing testimonials. It's for me, there's no point anymore because we know everything's possible. I'm just looking for what's the next surprise that I haven't heard of before. That's what I look for, because there's little miracles in almost every post that people are making. There's always some little miracle in there that most people miss. If you pay attention, you'll see them. You know, oh yeah, well, you know, I got off my medication after 20 years. Well, you know, it's a little miracle.
Sometimes even the poster would miss the transformations. They would just write their experience and they wouldn't and then they would say something so positive and then negative or whatever, you know, experience. But so because you have both, they kind of forget the good ones.
We got to read between the lines.
That's true.
And you know what does Jeffrey say here? The smell is proof. Yeah, of course. You'll know. That first fast I did in 1990, I can't forget that odor. It stunk up the whole house. It was that bad coming off of an everything diet, you know. It was horrific. It was, I'll never forget, for many days and weeks. Yeah. And if it ain't coming out, you ain't digging deep enough. You ain't digging deep enough. You know, I was talking on one of the Facebook Lives. I read one of the 108-day fasters. He was chewing cashews, I think it was, for weeks on Master Fast and spitting them out. That ain't Master Fast. And he was the one saying, he was clean. He wasn't eliminating anything. You're not going to eliminate taking in all that fat. Even if you're not swallowing it, I guarantee you're going to swallow some. And even if you didn't, you're getting the fields of that fat. Once you put it in your mouth, you're already getting the energy. You can spit out. You can do food and not ingest anything. You're going to take the energy in from that food because the process of conversion starts in the mouth plasmatically. So yeah, you're taking in the energy of those fats, and you're not going to eliminate. Somebody else was doing a fast, and they were, you know, eating dates occasionally because they felt that they needed more energy, and they weren't eliminating. I go, that's not fasting. You're eating. And they stopped eating the dates, and they started eliminating after a week. You can't eliminate when you're eating. It doesn't happen. And I don't care what you eat.
Not the mucoid plaque. The mucoid plaque doesn't.
the body does not go, it doesn't switch into the elimination mode. It doesn't happen when you eat every day. It doesn't happen. Even if it's fruit, it doesn't happen. That process has to stop. And the wonderful thing with this pudding, you know, it's like food for when you're on master fast, but it doesn't put the body out of that elimination mode because there's no digestive things in it. So it's wonderful. It's just used as a broom and an absorbing material, and we can enjoy, you know, feeling a little bit of something in our belly. It's very, very satisfying emotionally for people to have the pudding. Yeah, there's a few people who can't stand it. I don't know why. It's just like cereal. It's tasteless. Just put a little maple syrup on it. Don't worry about it. It's or drink it down when it's liquid, you know, and just down it.
Yeah, it's more the texture that people don't like.
I like it.
So,
you know, we've made pizza with it. It's tasteless.
No, I know, but the texture I'm saying. So that's why I drink it, you know, rather than eat it with a spoon. Or
Yeah.
It's I mean, it's tasteless. Yeah, of course, you can make a pizza with it. You can make.
There's so many things that are tasteless. Everything made with flour and stuff, they're all tasteless. It's what you add to them that gives them flavor. You know, cookies, pizza, pasta, it's all tasteless. Cereal, it's all tasteless. There's not much flavor in grains. But we're all addicted, and there's always excuses to stop instead of looking at all the reasons to continue. So if we focus on why we're doing it, why we should be continuing, and you know, and so on and so forth, all focusing on the solutions, all these little things, eventually you'll work them out. Like herbs, a lot of people don't like the flavor of herbs, and as the weeks go on, you stop hearing about that because you start acquiring a taste for them. I love the taste of all herbs myself. I don't care how bitter. I love them all. But you know, when you're new to this stuff, it might be pretty hard on some people.
It happened to me. Like, I hate them. Like, oh God. Yeah. Now I love them.
There you go. It happens. It happened. You can acquire a taste for anything, especially something as beautiful as these spirits who are here to help us. You know, you love them.
Well, I didn't say hate. I'm sorry. But yeah, it was really,
I know
it was really strong for me.
But we appreciate everything they do. You know, they're magical in what they do at every level, physical, emotional, so on and so forth. The things that they're doing, and we don't even have an understanding. Plants are here to teach us, that's for sure. Jeffrey, what's happening? We can't hear you. Probably microphone settings.
Should be fine now. No.
No, your microphone settings need to be adjusted. On the Zoom settings, you have to look for the left. On the bottom of mine is you see a mic and a little arrow, and then you can see your settings if your microphone is on. You correct the microphone. But what time are we at? 8:30 already. Wow. But yeah, guys. No mic. Oh, okay. Yeah, so you know, the biggest challenge is breaking the fast. This is where we all have the biggest challenges. There's very few who go through the breaking the fast very smoothly, but most people have challenges there, and is where we need to stay focused. Because lots is happening when you break the fast. You'll see what I'm talking about as you go through the weeks after the fast. It takes a while for the body to readjust and rebalance itself. Like Artie had her leg and her ribs straightened out, not at the 108 days, after the 108 days, which is another miracle. She was born with crooked leg and ribs straightened out. So need to have an understanding. Like if she would stay on permanently on the master fast, like Martin's doing it, eventually it would start happening on the fast itself anyway. But not everybody's ready to let go of eating, and that's okay. But most of us can handle very easily to reduce our food consumption. Very easily. If you maintain a dry fasting schedule, daily, weekly, monthly, season change, no problem. No problem at all. Or you move into a mini master fast option where you're doing so many days or weeks on and off, on and off, on and off, and work at that level. But everybody will find their own system, which is endless, the combinations you can use. And you'll see which one that you'll be able to resonate and work with. Who was it that somebody mentioned they were doing the Cascade? That was the first time I heard somebody doing the Cascade. She was on, I don't remember how many days, but that was interesting. Yeah, I haven't heard too many people doing the super hybrid. I played with that one quite a bit, and that's interesting, using cooked fruit as your meal. But there's so many things we can do. Anybody else have anything you want to add?
My mic working now?
Oh, there you go.
Hi.
Hey, Jeffrey.
Gino?
Yeah.
Hey. Can I ask you a question? Has anyone gotten to the point where they've become so clean that they can't go back successfully eating again?
Everybody.
I know it's not a really good question to ask, but I was just curious.
Everybody.
Whenever I try to eat, if I try to eat a sandwich or something, I have a feeling like someone punched me in the gut.
Yeah.
I cannot eat any food.
Yeah, it's not that you've gotten so clean. It's your body's rejecting what it doesn't want because you've gotten.
No, I have not gotten as clean as possible at all. But I'm just wondering if there's anyone who's way out there in 108-day domain where they can't get back to eating again for some reason.
Martin ain't going back to food. He's over at 2 years level now.
Is that a choice you need to choose first? Because it sounds like you have to make a decision, and that's going to be your path.
To make a conscious decision that you're never going to eat again is not something that most people will be able to live with because it's so ingrained in us. So, but we can make a decision that we're not eating today. And when tomorrow comes, we can make a decision that we're not eating today. And then when tomorrow comes, we can make a decision that we're already, that's the way we do it. To make a decision that I'm not going to eat ever again. Whoa. You know how much pressure that's putting on your emotion? Because we're so addicted to this food stuff, right? So we do it at one day at a time. And when we're ready, we've done whatever amount of fasting. One time we're going to say, well, you're at a level where you've gone longer than you ever gone, and you have no interest in going back to food. That may happen to some of us. So I wouldn't put that pressure.
I guess I asked the question a little strange. I guess what I'm trying to ask is, will there come a point where you don't have a choice and you can't take food in again because your body will just continue to reject it?
This is the key, Jeffrey. We don't need to eat.
I know. I'm just saying.
If you're getting your energy from another source, and you continue to eat, then your body's saying no, and then you go back to getting your energy from another source. Then you eat again. Your body's saying no, and it keeps happening over and over. That's what's starting to happen to me and a few other people. but we continue to do it because we're not ready emotionally to let that go for whatever reasons, environments, this, that, the other things, and so on and so forth. So we go back to minimal eating to reduce the pressure of the body, and we choose the least obstructive, which are fruits, mucus-free, mucus-lean vegetables, and so on and so forth, because we're still not ready to let it go completely, even though we know that the body's saying, I feel better when I don't eat, but I'm still going to go punish myself. You don't say that, but I'm still going to go enjoy those flavors for another time, and that keeps happening. For how long? I don't know, Jeffrey. I've been doing this a long time, and, it's just really in the last few years that I've had the state where, my belief system's going that, wow, yeah, man, the food thing isn't it. It's not the way. There's got to be a way for me to allow my belief system to completely finish and be done with eating. And, I'm looking forward for that. Will the day ever come? Whatever. But, I continue to do fasting and, eat as clean as possible and so on and so forth. We fall off the wagon once in a while. Yeah, whatever. Especially now, taking care of my mother, being there all the time. It's challenging when you're with other people. Being on your own, it's much easier. If you're focused, it's much easier instead of having to deal with people that are just not willing to change at those levels, which is okay. But it's a continual thing that they're, hitting triggers on you, especially when foods that you grow up with. Those are the strongest addictions. From your mother, there's nothing more powerful than that, unless it's a designed addictive type of substance, which they put in corporate foods and so on and so forth. That's different. Cigarettes and et cetera, and coffees. They actually put things they know they're designed to keep you addictive. But your mother's food is probably maybe not the word addictive, but I'm gonna use the word addictive, but more of a state where it was satisfying to your soul because there was love going through that, where the corporate stuff is just greed going through it to keep feeding them. So it's two different scenarios. Yeah, Rana.
Yes, I wanted to say, Jeffrey, first of all, the body rejects sandwiches is because it's not food, right? So for the first time, the body is talking to us, right? Before that, we eat the sandwich and nothing bothers us. But now the body is talking to us.
You can make a plasma pudding sandwich.
Well, I guess what I'm trying to get at is, do everyone know who's starting Masterfest how powerful this is? Because when you get going on this, it's sort of like there's no return. You don't have the option to go back.
You've been here a while.
I've been here a long time.
Quite a few people who've came a while ago, disappeared, and they're back. What does that tell you?
They're back on SAD or they're back on MFS?
Massive. We didn't see them for a while. Some of them more than a year, and then they came back because they couldn't get that beautiful feeling anywhere else. You can't get it with food. It's not going to happen.
It seems like after you clean your plaque, there's no going back to the SAD. There's no way there's no way.
You're really
because your body just kicks it out.
Yeah, but if you're stubborn and you keep working at it, you'll get back to where you were. You can do it. Believe me.
Do you miss it, Jeffrey?
No, I don't miss it, and I feel sick if I ever try to eat that again.
Yeah, I know the sickness feeling, but emotionally, do you feel like you miss it?
No.
Okay, good.
Yeah, get some plasma pudding, make a batch, put it in one of those toaster things, or whatever. Yeah, man, there's ways of doing it. it's not going to affect you negatively like going after the old stuff that we used to eat. There's so many ways you can do things. It's going to be heavier than usual compared to fruit, but the plasma pizza, man, it was a strange but nice feeling as it's going through because you got all that pudding going through you.
How long can you take the pudding for? How many years? I mean,
until your body says you've had enough. I don't know.
What are some signs that your body's saying?
When I went raw, I was doing just psyllium back then for a while, and I can't remember how long it was. After a few years or so, all of a sudden I would take the psyllium and I would throw it up. What's going on? And that happened a few times, and then I says, I'm done with it. I don't need this anymore. But it took several years to get to that. So the body just said, that's enough. It didn't need it anymore. And I left it for years.
Another thing I want to say is that the flavor is not in a sandwich. That's for sure. We know that much. I mean, you've had good food and you had sandwiches, right? The flavor is not in the bread. It's not. The flavor is in the fruits and the vegetables. That's the true flavor. And the herbs. I mean, did you see the food that I posted the other day on Post Master Fast? I mean, look at that. I mean, really, this is real food. There is nothing on it. It's just steamed or baked, and the flavor is out. You know, it's speaking. You know, it's in the herbs. I told people I did not put any oil. They don't care, right? Now they eat everything. They don't appreciate it. But the truth is that flavor is not in the oil. It's not in the grains and, you know, even the legumes and the quinoa. It's more putting it together, you know. Of course, the texture is nice, you know, of the quinoa or chickpeas or whatever. But they have no flavor. You're used to them and your emotion attached to them. But
the grains are very addictive, though. Very addictive. You know, the fats are very addictive. Fats, the flavors. It's not it's a very emotionally satisfying because it's stimulating, it's numbing, but it's plugging you up at the same time.
I believe it's the reason they are addictive is because they're obstructive.
They numb you out.
In my opinion, anything that obstructs you, you're going to want it more.
Anything that alters the emotion is addictive.
Yeah, I see it. Yes, definitely, and I see it.
Plasma love is the most addictive of all.
I see it. Yeah, anything that doesn't move easily through you is going to make you want, you know, to eat it more again. You know.
So you know, a lot of us associate, you know, having that full feeling in the tummy with motherly love, right? And that's a strong pull addiction, very strong, you know, so.
And the more obstructed we are, the more parasites we have. It's just a given. They live on our obstructions and we love them, you know, they're doing their job, but they want more. And they affect your emotions. They make you think you're hungry. Not to go and fight the parasites, no. Go for the cause, and that's the obstructions, right? So when we eat foods that move through us, you find that you have much less addiction to the, for example, sandwich, right? Or pizza. Really, everybody who eats raw for a while will say, no, thank you, I don't want to cook. You know, I mean, fruits and vegetables, clean raw, you know, will say, no, thank you, you know, I'm satisfied. You're like, oh, but you know, people think that you're missing out, but the truth is you're not. We know that. People who have done raw food, they know they're not. If anything, they love the food more than ever. And same thing with fasting. When we fast and feel amazing, you share your story with somebody else, they would feel bad for you. But the truth is you feel amazing. But you cannot talk to a person who's addicted. You can't talk to a person who's addicted about... you know, oh, fasting is fantastic. I feel great. I'm releasing so much obstructions. they want to understand. They're not interested because they want more of what they're eating. Yeah.
Yeah, like most people, you talk about giving up some food. No, I can't give that up. Don't give it up. Free will.
It's usually when you feel sick of feeling sick, that's when you make a change. And I guess we all did at some point. And we decided, you know what, I'm trying to make a change, a little bit of a sacrifice and give up something. Whereas, usually when we feel sick, feeling sick, and we just want a change, most people are okay where they are. And even if they're sick, they still don't have the courage to do it. So thank God, right? Thank God for having the courage to do something completely different. Another thing I wanted to say is that the only person who so far who has said I don't want to eat was Marine, and that was very impressive. I was impressed actually that he said I don't want to eat.
And stuck to it.
And stuck to it, of course. Yeah, I mean, I don't think people would dare say it, Gino. Most people will not dare say, I'm not going to eat. They don't. When they make an intention, when they fast, they know I'm going to eat. They know it, even if they do 108 days. I haven't seen one person on the massive fast who said, I'm just going to fast, other than Maria. I did, though. I did. On day 2 of this fast, so it's at the beginning. I didn't make the decision now. I did on day 2. I was just about to go to the farmer's market. It was Saturday. They're only open on Saturday. I was like, if I want to eat Sunday, I better go now. So am I gonna go, or am I going to stay home and just do a nice long fast, or just fast, So that's where I studied what I want and what the pros, the cons of eating even 1 day a week. And after 2 hours of thinking about it, I made the decision. I am comfortably saying I don't want to eat. Comfortable, because it just makes so much sense to me what I just read right now. What I wrote down and what I just read. And these were notes from before I made. These are not just, I just looked at my papers because I wanted answers. And I found the pros and cons of Massive Fast Weekly. And I was like, it's so obvious. I called Gino right away and I said, Gino, well, you know what? It's so obvious. Do I want to do 1 day a week, or do I eat 1 day a week, or do I want to just fast? And he said, you know what? I'm just gonna. I'm very comfortable saying it now at this point, because it's not an easy decision, right? So when somebody asks me how long are you going, I say I'm just gonna keep going. I have no plan to break it. But you know what? If I break it, it's no problem. But I don't want to eat more than 1 day a week, because I've done it and it just doesn't work. It's just for the flavor, for the taste, for the texture of the food. But you know what? I'm exposed to it. When I make food for people, I smell it. It's more than enough. And then I watch them eat it, and it feels like I'm eating it, And it's not like I'm hungry, because I'm drinking all the time. I'm so full. You know how full it feels to be on the Massive Fast. So there's no desire for anything, really. Who knows? I mean, But I know once it goes in my mouth, the food, I will want it.
May I share something I noticed?
Please.
Whenever I release a creature, a parasite, big one, like I know I haven't eaten shrimp in years, and these things that are coming out of me are not shrimp. But whenever I have a release, after the release is the biggest craving time, I noticed. That's when it's really difficult cravings, right after I move one of these things out of me. And that's the only thing that comes out of me at the time when I do a number 2. It's just like right after that, there's an intense craving. And I think there's something else that's somewhere else in the body that's connected and it's sending a signal or something. I don't know how it works.
Brothers and
Those are
sisters.
the brother, yeah. But it's the toughest time for me to continue on, and I fall off it and then I get back on, and that's what's happening. It's a constant.
It's okay,
like
but
it's, you know,
it's okay because you're getting back on. It's okay. Don't worry about it. You know, it's when we never get back on and then start going down the road back to where we were. I don't want to say wrong or right, but some people choose that because they're just not ready to heal.
what keeps me on, keep going back on, is the fact that I'm still moving old material out, and I know it's old. You can tell it's kind of old material, so it's got to keep going.
Yeah, it's interesting how it works, but it's fairly simple.
Yeah, probably the brothers and sisters are dying inside them. Oh, and they want to eat, you know, and that's where you get the cravings, basically.
Well, I think there's a physical piece of it, and that's connected to another piece that's somewhere in the cranial area that's sending the signals. So it's like you're breaking the signal, but then that little tiny piece that's in your cranial area sending a signal back somewhere. I don't know what's happening. It's just strange.
Yeah, we all go through different sensations. We don't need to figure it all out. That's the beauty. All we need to know is how and what to do. That's it. What is this? Let's go analyze that. And what for? It's not going to help your healing. That's the way I look at it now.
I'm just trying to break my cravings. That's what's killing me.
Yeah, breath work, keep busy when you get the cravings. Use the tools, you know, go in nature, essential oils, many things to do. You know, when we were kids, you know, my mother would have to call us so many times to go in to eat. Who was thinking about food? We were playing, right? But there's the program, right? It's time to eat. Ding, 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 ding. And what happens after years of that? It's program running. And that program is difficult to change for a lot of people because it's been embedded very deep with your motherly love. So, you know, we work around that and we train ourselves slowly over the months and years to deprogram ourselves and connect back to the light where we actually come from, because that's the source of all our energy. It's not the matter. And
I don't know if it's the parasites or the motherly love. I don't know what percentage of the parasites is causing this versus what.
That could be a different thing, the parasites themselves, but I'm just giving you that scenario. There's so many things happening. We don't need to fully understand exactly who, what, where, when, why is what I'm saying.
Right.
People want to analyze everything exactly. Oh, you know, people talking about ketosis and autophagy or whatever, how we pronounce it, all these terms. It doesn't mean anything to me. It's all bullcrap to me. It's because it's science, and science keeps changing. So where's the truth in that? So let's not focus on, let's focus on the results. How do we get the results? Okay, we do this, this, and this, and that, and the body starts regenerating. Wow, but all this other stuff is happening. All this stuff's coming out of the body. What is it all? Does it matter? No, it really doesn't. Do we need to monitor our blood pressure, this, that, and the other thing? I'm saying let's walk away from all that stuff and start going in and trusting. That's what I'm saying. Some of us are not ready for all that. I used all that stuff, numbers, this, that, temperatures, and blah, 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 blah. Looking at, analyzing. I don't do any of that stuff anymore. I see everybody, but it's funny watching everybody do it because I've been through it too. So it doesn't matter.
Well, I guess people are trying to share stuff back, but it's simple.
Great.
It's so simple. There's not really much to share back.
It's great.
You know, if you do what you're told to do, it works. Period. Yeah. That's it. Yeah.
But the scientific and analyzing of, we need to check what's that urine, what's exactly it is the body has the way more intelligent than all the PhDs put together on this planet. I can assure you. No doubt.
It's good to have a general idea of how things work, but that's it. You don't need to complicate it.
All the people out there talking about pH, it doesn't work. It doesn't work.
For example, you're saying, is it the parasites or is it the motherly love and the emotions? In my opinion, they're both related. This is how I see it. I see parasites and emotions. So you don't need to separate and think, is it this or is it that, or just this is the body. The body is working as a whole. If you want to have a understanding, maybe have a general theory, and that's it.
Yeah. You have a basic understanding of what's happening. Body's getting rid of things it doesn't want or doesn't need and cannot use. That's it.
Well, last year, or maybe the year before, I had the heart palpitations. I thought I was having an AFib heart attack. Is that what it feels like? I mean, because I had it about 6 of them.
Yeah, is that the time you messaged me, I think.
Yeah, and it feels like I was having a heart attack, and my heart was just like a muscle.
Is that gone now?
Yeah, but it may come back.
Don't think about me. Whatever. Don't worry about it. Because if it does, you know what to do.
I didn't know. But I didn't know that was part of the MFS. I wasn't reading. I guess if it was in there, I didn't read it, or I don't know. It scared me.
I just explained today about the heart thing. That's one of the things that goes nuts when all these chemicals.
No, I heard you.
Yeah. So if you understand that and you let go of the fear, just let the body do it and support with the tools. Just let it support. Start making some GANS pads and stuff, and allow everything to reconnect.
But that's a good sign, right? That if you do experience something like that.
If you listen to, I've said this many times, while we're on a fast, any change is good news. When you're, for example, you're in pain and suffering, you've been like this for years, and you've been eating for years, and nothing's changing. It's stagnation. Pain start moving around when fast. This is all good news. It's all good news. You just have to believe it and trust it, because the body knows what to do when you're fasting. When you're eating, I can't talk about when we're eating. I'm talking about when we're fasting. Because when we're eating, it's the food interacting with us. And that's a whole different ballgame. But when you're fasting, and we have all the support tools to utilize and support and get rid of these things, it's always good news when there's change. We need to put a little bit of common sense, but I have not seen anybody get in real danger zones on fasting unless they went way off the track like Alejandra did and a few others. Because we've learned what to do and what are the signs and so on and so forth. So now we can use a little bit of prudence to bring people through these challenging times. And if it's too much, we break the fast or we go on green juices or whatever. The other option is go on pineapple juice or apple juice if you don't want to go on green juice to slow things down. There's things you can do if you want to slow it down. But might I say, pedal to the metal and trust. Not everybody can do that, but it's okay. It's okay to back off maybe a few days a week and then put the pedal to the metal again. Everybody's going to have to make their own decision for that, especially new people who don't know and they're not familiar, no experience of fasting. It's going to be scary. I've been through the scary times, a lot of them. I had Honor Eric's book, but nobody to ask her. People that knew a little bit about it. Oh yeah, whatever you need to do, you're missing this, that, and the other thing. They didn't know. Took me a million years to find, you don't need anything and keep going. You know, the herbs are just there to assist us, and they do a great job at doing that. So it's in today's modern man without the herbs, it's a real challenge. That's, you know, so I burnt out my kidneys and my bladder and sciatic nerve and all that crap. It was just too aggressive. Body got started drowning in its own filth and burnt out all my kidneys, bladder, and sciatic nerve. Ended up in bed for 2 years. So now we have an understanding. You know, we add to knowledge as these things progress, and we learn from them. It was all a blessing in disguise, but it took me many, many, many years to come to that understanding what exactly happened back then. It didn't happen right away, because it took me many years to get out of that problem. So we just embrace these times and work through them. But we have you know, since I've been sharing the actual Master Fast system online, it's over. It'll be 3 years. No. Well,
Just over 3 years.
Yeah, I started early in 2015 in January or February, my first videos, but it wasn't no Master Fast system name or anything, but the program was already laid out and everything, but I didn't put it on the Facebook page till fall time, at the late summer, fall, this website and Facebook. So a lot of interesting things have happened with people, and it's allowed us to add to the knowledge quite a bit in that short time. Plus all the other things I've done before that, which brought it up to that point, and all the amazing teachers that I've had. When we start to have that faith and trust, this is where everything changes. I see people that, like I said, they were barely able to do 24-hour dry fast. Like, they were freaking out. And I had to guide some of them through it. And like, okay, you know, it's time to break it. Like, total freaking out. And now they're doing 3-4 day dry fast like nothing. You know, they completely changed their lives around, where they couldn't barely do any physical things, where now they're, you know, be able to walk, gardening, walk their dog, take care. So, you know, this is after people have been in those situations for many, many years. You know, people get enough medications, this, that, and the other thing.
Are you guys sleeping less? Notice that after a few years?
When I fast, I sleep less. When I eat, I sleep more.
Your sleep comes
I'm
back
sleeping
then.
like crazy.
Yeah, your body needs it.
Like 10, 12 hours.
Let it sleep as long as it needs.
Okay.
At the beginning, of course, you will. Your body wants support.
Because
But,
what do you
over
do
the years.
when you're sleeping? You're dry fasting.
But I tend to wake up at night to go to pee, maybe like 5-6 times. And it's, well, so.
That's a lot.
Yeah.
What time you finish drinking and what time you go to bed?
I go around 10:30 to bed, and I finish drinking maybe half an hour, 1 hour before.
Yeah. Try and move your dry window further away from the sleep times.
Okay.
At least a couple hours before you go to bed, stop, so you can evacuate your bladder, or if not more time. You know, so you get a longer dry going into your sleep.
Okay.
And maybe just experiment with drinking 2 liters rather than 2.5.
Okay.
Just to help you, so you don't have to get up.
Yeah, it's not comfortable if you got to get up at night like that. You're drinking too close to bedtime.
Okay.
It's not very common that people get up many times. It's usually it's a reflection of something imbalanced. the body. It's yeah, it's not.
Yeah, it's probably weak bladder and so on, but it's all going to strengthen itself out. From where you came from, and Alejandra, don't worry, one step at a time. Things will restore, things will balance out, and then you're going to look back, and you're not even going to remember that this time that you're waking up 5 times a night. You're not going to remember because you're going to sleep through the night like a baby. Time will come. When, I don't know, but the time will come. So just embrace it and let it happen. Insomnia is horrible. I went through that period as well when I was on the high fat. It was horrific. And it took time for me to get out of that. So, everything balances out. Everything balances out nicely. Don't worry about it. It's all good. The worrying doesn't help. But, yeah, you're welcome, Jeffrey. So we're at 9. Let's call it a close because I got to get back to my mother. And nice to see everybody. Thank you for participating. This is all for you guys and for us as well. We learn lots, and that's where we continue to do it. It works both ways.
And for the rest of the Massive Fast members and YouTubers.
Everybody.
Thank you, guys. Thank you, Gino. Thank you, Rana.
Thank you.
Good evening.
Thank you, Gabriella, Jeffrey, everybody, Margaret.
Good evening to all.
Enga, David, Barbara.
All right. So thank you again. And ciao, ciao. We'll keep that plasma love flowing and building that strength. And let's see the planet in total peace, balance, and correct conduct at every level. It can't work the way it's been going. It's time for change into this direction of peace, balance, correct conduct. That's the only intent we should all have, no matter what. That's the intent we should have. Sign a peace treaty is for your soul, and that's all we focus on. It'll manifest if we keep doing it and keep manifesting and keep focusing and focusing. It just has to happen. It's the laws of the universe. See you guys. Thank you.